Good evening, sisters and brothers. I would first like to thank the Lord, my God, for the chance to come before you this day in celebrating Black History Month. I pray that the words from my mouth to your ears will be received in a manner that will lead to the spirit and understanding that is a blessing to His holy name. I'd like to thank the Board of Directors of the Gum Springs Community Center for allowing me to participate in this year's Black History Month program. The opportunity to share and reflect on the life and contributions of none other than the, quote, father of Black history, Dr. Carter G. Woodson, whose middle name is Godwin, the man and his contributions to the preservation and protection of Black history. I will speak later of the black hole as in a whole. I'm talking about W-H-O-L-E and the H-O-L-E, the full circle of Black history. Its contributions important to everybody, everywhere. First, let me talk about me, Dr. Carter G. Woodson. The bio I present to you will include my achievements of academia and titles, but it is of most importance that we take this opportunity to use it as a teaching moment. After all, I am an educator. The Bible tells us that my people suffer more because of what they do not know. I was born right here in New Canton, Virginia on December the 19th, 1875, to Anne Elizabeth Riddle and James Henry Woodson. Now, it's important that we remember that I include my mother's middle name, or maiden name, I would say, because so often in history and in research, we forget to include that, and that says a lot about the person. It's also very important in the research itself. And some people, and in a lot of writings, you will people will be actually called or referred to as former slaves. Black people were not slaves, they were enslaved. They expressed to me at the time of their most happiness was the days they received their freedom. I was unable to attend primary school regularly because my family was extremely poor. So I spent the days working on the farm, and through self-instruction, I worked my way to a new school for blacks called Douglas High School. I was still working in the coal mine there, and it only allowed me minimal time for schooling. In 1895, I was able to attend Douglas full-time at the age of 20. I received my diploma in 1997 at the age of 22. I went on to teach at Winona School in West Virginia, a school funded by black miners for the children from 1898 to 1900. And in 1900, I was selected as principal of that same Douglas High School. Other achievements included my bachelor's at Berea College in Kentucky and at the University of Chicago. In 1912, I received a PhD from Harvard. I was the second Afro-American to earn the doctorate, and the first one was W.E. Du Bois. I became principal of Armstrong Training Academy School in Washington, D.C., and later became the Dean of College of the Arts and Sciences at Howard University in Washington, D.C. Philosophers have long conceded, however, that every man has two educators, one that is given to him and the one that he gives himself. Of the two kinds, by far, the latter is more desirable. Indeed, all that is most worthy in man, he must work out and conquer for himself. It is that which constitutes our best nourishment. That is what constitutes our best nourishment, what we learn for ourselves. What we are merely taught seldom nourishes in their mind, and that which we teach ourselves lasts longer. For when others control a man's thinking, they do not have to worry about his actions. You know, that was a story that we say where if a man really controls your mind, he doesn't have to tell you to come in or go to the back door. You'll even go yourself. In fact, you'll go straight there, and if the door is not there, you will build a door. In 1926, I pioneered the celebration of Negro History Week for the second week of February each year to coincide with the birthdays of both Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass. Black educators, students expanded this to include the entire month of February, beginning in February the 1st of 1970. In celebration of the United States bicentennial, President Gerald Ford designated February as Black History Month, celebrating the contributions to America. Every U.S. president since then has designated this month in history as a vital part of our people's existence. We cannot allow others to contain our history in a black hole. We must let the light shine for all to see. We must promote all we know to be the truth. Those who do not know cannot see us. They are in darkness. When we do not know ourselves, we are in darkness. People in general are down on what they're not up on. Black history is not just our history or his story. Our story is part of the story. Let us proudly let our light shine. In addition, I'd like to take this opportunity to let people understand how important it is in Black history, or any history, to let your story out and to know what's really available out. As a young kid, I was not really allowed to do a lot of things, and my parents were considered to be illiterate. They weren't illiterate. They just were at a new language, new country, a new understanding of the world. But that's part of the total story. We have such things right here in this community. We have a community center with a Black History Center, with a history of Gum Springs Community Center that many people don't even know that it's here. It's not good. As a young kid, I began to get into stories of history, of Black history, because there was a gentleman that we worked with during the coal mining days that owned a place called the Tea Room. And in the Tea Room, that is where the Black miners had their breaks, and they met to discuss things and have their lunches and dinners and stuff like that. And they exchanged stories about Black history. My job was worked out with a gentleman by the name of Oliver Jones, who was the owner of the Tea Room. And he allowed me to read these stories in newspapers and books and things that he had collected, though he couldn't read them himself, so that this information was disseminated to the coal miners. That was one of the reasons I knew how important it was that we get our history out. And as a result of doing those things, he allowed me to eat free and do other things and have other privileges at the tea room. We need more tea rooms. We need tea rooms everywhere. And again, we need to let our light shine. It is not just our history, it is the history. Thank you.
This video was produced in partnership with the Gum Springs Community Center's Information Technology Education Program in our new multimedia studios. Join us in the center or online for our virtual classes. Let us help you develop your digital media and computer technology projects. Call today for a tour, 703-360-6088.